Good morning, good day, good evening. This is YieldMaxMindset coming to you for portfolio review week 50. 2 weeks away from having our 1 year anniversary on in September. All right, so let's get to it. First, we're going to go over our Robinhood portfolio, review that. Then we will hit our Charles Schwab portfolio. We will try to hit our crypto portfolio. We hit our Excel spreadsheet, touch on our Divi tracker, and hit snowball analysis, and conclude with our Q&A. Let's see if we can do better. All right, let's get it. All right, so as you can see here, our investment value stands at $63,591 live currently. All right, so it is 12:55 Eastern Standard Time and 11:55 Central Standard Time. All right, so $17 is where we are right now live. For the day, we are up $456. For the week, we are down $7,287. For the month, we're down $23,223. For the past 3 months, we are up $14,049. Year to date, we're up $12,165. And past year, we're up $34,128. And all time, we currently stand at being up $27,524. All right, so what was this for the month? Showed that we was down $23,226. So let's see, get this out of my way so I can see here. All right, so as you can see here in July, we hit, according to this, we hit 88,000. And we came down a little bit and we made some recovery. And then in July, we went down here to 65,000, right? And then we made a recovery back up to a high of 81,000. And then we began to dip off again. And then the bottom fell out right here because it was coming up to August the 1st when the tariffs were announced. All right, so we went from a high of 88,000 all the way down here to 57,000. And we made a little recovery over the last few weeks. All right. So, if you watch my short video on Friday, I announced that my buying power was at $400 and I believe $12. And so we got our dividends paid out. All together was what, $1,950 and some change. And so then Robinhood 2x that, or 2.5x that amount. So it went from $412 to $4,181 in buying power. All right. So our total margin, you can see now, stands at 100. This is available margin, right? $124,907. I think that's the most I've seen that they've allowed me to have. All right, so our margin use now stands at $120,726. It was a little bit more than that, but we got a dividends and that brought it down. All right, so now our margin status, you can see they have a new user interface here, or a new outlay for displaying the buffer. I believe it was a cylinder that they used to show it. So now they have this, I don't know what you call it. But anyway, it shows the total maintenance required is 49,000. Excuse me, there we go again. Did not start until I did start recording. All right. So $49,829 is what the total maintenance required here. So maintenance is saying that this is the balance that I need to maintain in my account. Now I will say that as the as say the market was dipping, this amount does decrease a little bit. So now it's saying that I may have to maintain 49,000, but it may go down to 46, So it fluctuates a little bit. Our buffer now stands at $13,505 for 21.73%. And once again, our portfolio value is just over 63,000. All right. Annual interest rate is still at 5.25. Our daily interest is at 1746. And once again, if you're under 50K, you get 5.75% on margin account. If you use a margin account, you get 5.55 if you're between 50K and 100K. And if you're between 100K to a million, you get 5.25. So I got a long way to get to 5% unless the Fed lowers the interest rate in September. And I could get that, right? All right. All right. So as always, if you're a Gold member and you're using margin, the first $1,000 of margin is free with Robinhood Gold. So those that are not wanting to pay any interest and just want to borrow some free money to sort of move your account at a faster pace, the first 1,000 is free. You know what they say on the streets. I ain't never been on the streets, but I hear on the movies that hey, the first time is always free. That's right, get you addicted. So margin, the first 1,000 is free. Get you addicted, you'll be like me. You're up here at 122,000 at my highest. All right. So if I want to withdraw, I couldn't withdraw anything last week because the balance a buying power was, like I said, was at $412. So I checked the account, couldn't withdraw one penny. My buffer was at 11, 12, 15,000. The buffer was good. That's great. You want that great. That gives you peace of mind, right? But now that I got the dividends this past Friday, and now if I hit withdrawal, you can see now I have 1779 available to withdraw if I wanted to withdraw some funds from this account. All right. All right, so let's hit our other positions. All right, so first up we got CONY. I know y'all love some CONY, right? Nah, if some of you getting in now, it may be good, but if you're like me, you've been having the DCA down. Because I bought when it was in the higher teens and lower 20s. All right. So I do have a couple strategies that I want to implement, and I'll probably talk about them right quickly. So CONY right now is at 734. My market value is at $80,740. I'm down $40,160 in this account. My average cost is $10.99, and I have 11,000 shares. All right. So there is a little strategy. So I was looking. Man, I don't have that sheet. I did it somewhere else. I don't have an Excel sheet with me. But I can show you right quick if you all will bear with me. Let's see here. Go to here. Let's see what we got. We want to go orders, right? All right. So we go all the way down here, right? So from January 2024, um, it looks like that's when I bought my first CONY, and that was 9 shares at basically $20. And you can see I bought 9 more, and then I had the drip on here. Was buying one. This is when I was just testing. I ain't gonna say when I was just testing it out, but it sort of was. Because I think I was in Tesla and OART, and then CONY came along. I was like, oh boy, CONY's doing right. So I started getting some CONY. But you see, I was only buying a small amount. I bought 29 shares here in June of 2024 at $20.08. All right. And then my next largest position came in August of last year. 287 shares at 1742. 479 475 shares at 1515. You see how the price is starting on low this time last year. All right. 230 shares at 1535 in August. 458 shares at 1617. I bought another 99 shares at 1576. And then in September, I bought 200 shares at 1130. So you can see the dip between August here and September, how it dropped about $4 and change. And then in September the 9th, I bought 500 shares at 1187. All right. So I factor this at another time. So from January of 2024 to August of 2024, which basically would be year to date would be almost a year, right? So these would be like a long term sale, right? Because I would have held them more than a year if I were to sell. And I think Robinhood, I haven't verified this, but I think Robinhood does first in, first out. One of you guys did show me the tax thing that you could do when you get ready to sell on particular positions, right? Tax slot sale or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. So, but I think Robinhood by default does first in, first out. So, from January into August, I think it ended up being like 604 or 602 shares, right? And those are all in the higher teens or the mid teens, right? So my strategy was, since I already have 11,000 shares in CONY, right? So I got 11,000 shares here. So I need another 604, let's say 605 shares. And the strategy, you were like, well, why would you want to buy some more CONY? So I will go ahead and buy it, right? Maybe making it 11,600 shares, right? Hold it for a day or two, depending on where the price is at, right? So if I did it now, it would obviously lower my average cost just a little bit, right? But what I would do from January of 2024 to August of 24, I would sell approximately, if I'm not mistaken, around 605 shares. That would be the first in, and then they would be the first out. And I bought them at a small portion at the higher 20s, mid teens, um, during that time period. So if I sold those out, one, I would reduce. I would be at 11,600 shares, if I'm not mistaken. Then I would sell another 600 shares off once I accrued those shares, bringing me back down to 10K or 11K in shares. But it would tremendously lower my average cost from 10.99 probably to around 8 something. That's just a rough estimate. I don't know. I hadn't done the math. These are just these. This is a hypothetical theory on my part, right? So if I bought 600 shares, waited a day or two, sold off 600 shares, I would lower my average cost tremendously, right? And so Tony, for me, wouldn't have further fall. So even though my value probably would still be at this negative amount, right? I guess it probably wouldn't. I'm not sure. I don't know how that would work. But my average cost should be down tremendously. Like I'm saying, around $8. That's just a guess. I hadn't run the numbers, but that's just a theory. All right, moving right along. Next, we got Ulti 588. I'm on Twitter, and well, I was viewing some of the Twitter accounts, and some people were having a little uproar since OT done went from 642 to 610 to 605 and now 588. They did have a dividend payout, right? And we did have the overall market down the past week or two, right? So all those things are playing a factor. Some of them got out. I know one lady, her name is Alex, I believe, on Twitter. Excuse me. She put just a few weeks ago when it was at 605, she put in $777,000 in OT, and that put her getting over 12K a week. But then the other day it came down below six, and she sold out at 598, I believe she said. I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on that. So it was like a $2,800 loss, but she still made 28,000. I mean, not 28,000, $12,000 in dividends for this past week. And she got out of it and went to some other position. But she said she'll probably be back if OTA dips a little bit more. So, all right. So 588 right now. Um, my market value is at 88.05. I'm down over $1,700 for 706. And I have 1,500 shares. Now, with Ulti, and then I have Misty here. Misty's at 1785. Market value is at $17,850. I'm down over $7,800 in this account. My average cost is $25.70 for 1,000 shares, and the maintenance ratio is down to 35. So I definitely would love to be bringing down this average cost in Misty. I've always wanted to get Misty. Uh, Initially, my average cost was around $21, $23, and then it went up because I got back in. But I would love to get Misty down um, if I could. I don't know if I'll be able to just right yet because I got another strategy I want to deploy. All right, so here we go. Here's my other strategy. Both of those are. Let's put one of these PLTR, Palantir. All right, so Palantir is up $1, over $1 in the overnight market, right? It was just this past week at around 88, about to hit 190. It Different people saying, "Hey, we're going to hit 200." That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I haven't sold or taken any profit yet, because that's where I'm looking. So right now I'm at 78. So I'm hoping this week, no later than next week, I got to go back and look at how the timeline and how things are going to work for me, because I've got to make a move. All right. Other than that, I wouldn't be trying to sell it. But you can see here I'm at $6,900 in profit. I was as high as $8,200 in profit. Um, I was waiting to get. Hopefully, I was waiting to get to 200, so that was be like 10K in profit, and then I was going to sell it all. Right. So the strategy is, what I want to do is, y'all see I have a big position in CONY. I want a weekly or a combined weekly payer. Either want OT that's going to pay me right at over 1,000. Now initially it may just be a little bit over 900, but the ultimate goal is I want $1,000 a week from OT, a weekly payer, or I want to combine OT with another weekly payer, maybe one or two more. Max is three, and the combined payout for the three would be over 1,000. So either I'm going to go find me two additional in addition to OT, and the combined three is estimated, or I want to get maybe $1,000 a week. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to sell all of Palantir. I'm also gonna have to sell potentially my hood play. I'm gonna hold on to it if I can. I don't want to sell my HOOY because that's dividends right there. Uh, Super microcomputers probably on the chopping block. Not that I want to, because I actually would like to be accumulating while it's below my average cost. Um, but I probably will sell out of it. SoFi, it's another one I don't want to sell, but because of the strategy I want to implement, I need the funds to do that. So not Netflix, SoFi will probably be sold. As you can see, I'm in profit there a little bit. And Webull. Webull look like it's all of a sudden just went above my average cost after I've owned it for maybe a half a month. And so it potentially will be another one. And I'm looking at getting about $50,000 to $60,000 once I sell these positions. And once the profit from Palantir and SoFi and Webull, that profit will 2x. So I'm estimating getting about 52 to 60,000. And then I was going to take that and put it all into OT or a combination of OT and two other weekly pairs, estimating to get around about $1,000 a week. And the whole strategy on that is I want to use that weekly pair because I got to turn my taxes back on for my weekly from my employer. You got to pay taxes on that, right? So I got to turn it back on, which is going to reduce my active income per month. So I got to supplement that some kind of way. And this was going to be the strategy to do that. I was going to use the weekly 1,000 to withdraw and then use CONY and the remaining dividends to pay down my margin, right? And once I get so far, I may withdraw like I did the 6,000 and pay off another credit card. But I want to be with taking these weekly, so I don't know quite yet what the math is going to math on that just yet. But this is just things that I've been sorting out, right? All right, moving right along. YieldMax, that was a weekly payout. All right, so so far in our Charles Swap account, which is a cash only account, we have accrued or gotten $117.72 in dividends for the month of August. All right, here go my positions. In my cash only account, we have CONY 32, Covana 6, IOCI 1 share, Morrow 28, Bernie 6, Misty 19, Plady 5, SMCY 15, Alti 17.97, and we have the drip on just Alti, and Yeet 10 shares. All right. So we are down $153 in this account, and the account value at this time is at $24.58. We initially started with, I believe, $1,810, and so now I think we had two deposits, a small amount, not nothing big, and plus we got the dividends. We have $69 here to reinvest upon tomorrow. More likely is when I'll do that. All right. So here's the 60,000, and here's a position. This is a weekly. So if I got into this play here, which is by Rex, I believe Rex Shares Coin, their version of Coney, that's looking at about $1,400 a week. Let's see what else. See, here's Aldi with 60,000. Being that I already have 1,500 shares, it will put me just over $1,000 a week, right? And then we also saw, here's this position here. I think this is a monthly, right? No, I'm not sure. This is by Granite Shares. I'm not quite sure if that's a monthly payer. It may be a monthly. Let's take a look. Let's see here. It is a weekly pair. So it is $21. Yes, I believe that's one of the ones I'm considering. And there was another one. I had a sheet written here, a small piece of paper. Okay, yes. No, I actually had the wrong one. But this is probably one that I'm considering. Let me write this down because I put COII. I think that's probably one of them though, but why not I? All right, this is probably one of the ones I'm considering. Um, Here's one that I'm considering, TSYY. And I saw this one, XBTY, Granite Shares as well. And then I saw, yeah, that's it. That's it at a glance. So we'll see. All right. All right. So this website is YieldMax. This is by the YouTube influencer Bad Financial Decision. You can check her channel out. She created this magnificent um, site for us to help sort of give some guidance on particular position that we would like to invest. All right, so we got this one. This is this a weekly? Can't remember. I know my cousin mentioned this one to me. I believe it. Hold up. It's around here weekly. So yeah, it's $72 and it's pay, it's averaging almost $1 a week, I guess you would say. It's been averaging over $1 a week at $72. I didn't like the $72 price. You can see now in the aftermarket, it went up to $73.50. So if you want to, I mean, it's appreciating. That's great. I just didn't want to pay this amount, and then it started pulling back. I couldn't live with, but I ain't gonna say I couldn't live with myself, but I didn't like that. So there's some other potential ones here that I got to look at um, with that amount that could possibly get me more than that a week. I got to consider. Um, so let's see here. There's just some other ones. So you can see what I would be getting if I put it out in Playty right now, right? That would be more than $1,000. So I gotta see if I want a weekly or hit something like Playty and put that in there and just say, you know what, we'll stick with it. That's HOOY. So we'll see. I think I want a weekly pair. All right. Let's see here. All right. So next we got iCrypto. Let's see here. All right. So Pepe, you can see where it's at now. You can see I'm up 12, almost $1,300 in unrealized profit. We have just 153 million tokens of that. We haven't bought any in several months. All right, next we got our main position, our biggest crypto position, which is Chronos, CRO. We got 298,000 tokens, over 298,000 tokens. You can see here we have unrealized profit of $21,000 at the time. And let's see here, we got Bitcoin at 47, almost $4,800 in profit. Don't have a large amount invested there. And Ethereum, we're up almost $2,000 in profit here. Don't have a big position here. I would love to be accruing Ethereum because I can afford to actually get a whole one. I think Tim Lee is predicting it to go to what, 15K or 30K, right? All right, let's hit our Excel spreadsheet. All right, Excel spreadsheet. All right, let's move this over here. All right, so our most recent active income was 1883. All right, our dividends for last time we was here was at 1928.61, and we got paid, I believe it was 1950, some change, give or take, and that brought us to $3,887.67 for the month of August for passive income. All right, so our total active income is at $33,766 minus our tithes. And then our passive income is at $59,074.04. All right, so one of the gentlemen in our that made a comment in the Q&A section, I can't remember, it starts with a G, but he said that he had 5,444 shares of Playty. All right. So that means he was going to get over $40,000 in Playty this month. I think he said he was up $88,000 in profit, or that he had made $88,000 in dividends since he went started investing in Playty back in May. All right. So in 1 month he's got $40,000 in dividends, and he's pretty much has topped me in passive income. What I've been doing since January, he did that almost in 1 month. All right. So our total combined Passive and active income year to date stands at $92,840.77. Our average active income stands at 4220. Our our average passive income now stands at $7,384. Now, so the apps that we use, like Divi Tracker and Snowball Analytics, they're always going to base, like for instance, CONY, they're going to base the forward dividend outlook based on that 80 cents that CONY paid out. Now we know CONY is not likely going to pay anything close to that. It may be another 40 something distribution for CONY. We'll know Wednesday of this week, right? All right. So our prior margin balance in our Robinhood account stood at $123,023.29. It now sits at $120,726.16. Since we got our dividend distribution, so that reduced our margin. All right. Our Robinhood Gold now stands at $40 for the year. So that's not bad. Paying $5 a month to get a reduced interest on our margin around 5.25%, right? Or 5.55%. I think if you didn't have it on, you would be looking at like 11, 12, maybe 13%. So that is saving a lot of money just by giving them $5 a month. Our total interest year to date on Robinhood now stands at $2,034. Our last interest was around either $444 or $422. We'll probably have another one that'll be in that price range or a little bit more, because you can see the amount that we got borrowed, which is, I think it's a small amount for $120-something getting charged $400 or $500, and I'm making an estimated of $7,300 a month, and I'm paying them $400 or $500 a month just to get a lower interest rate. It's a no-brainer for me, people. No-brainer. All right. So our 401k balance loan has come down to $22,448. And now our total debt stands at a reduced amount of $319,637. That is down from this amount here of $323,560. All right, so the difference in that, I believe, it was almost $4,000, right? So we have reduced our total debt by $400. All right. Total interest for the second 6 months of this year now stands at almost $5,000. Total interest is at $18,248. Can't wait to get this debt paid off so I can actually take that amount and invest it. All right, so that's what this strategy that I was telling you about, me trying to get a weekly payer set up, or combine a combined weekly payer that will pay me $1,000 a month, not $1,000 a month, $1,000 a week, which will equate to $4,000 a month that I will be withdrawing out of my Robinhood account. Now, sometimes I might not need to withdraw it, so I may leave it there, but I probably will, because initially it'll be help paying down this debt here. Even though I'm not taking the lump sum and paying this out, I will be withdrawing a steady amount each month to help compensate for that, because I can tell you that once I turn this back on, the monthly totals are going to look anywhere like this. They're going to look about like $2,300 a month. That's what those are going to look like. Anywhere from 22 to 26 being the highest we may see. Here going forward, you're going to see this amount reduce, because not only am I going to turn the taxes back on, but I'm going to pay extra to help catch it up before the end of the year is out. So this amount is going to be reduced And so we're going to be making monthly, weekly withdrawals from my Robinhood account. Going forward, if I can get this transaction to happen this week, either it depends on how Palantir is moving. If it's moving up and it can get me back to if it can get me back to $88, I'll go ahead and I feel comfortable making a move, even though it definitely will probably pass 200 at some point. But this will allow me to get the debt paid and get back in on the game, right? All right. So, and you can see here, this is total amount I've gotten that I got invested with CONY, and so far we've gotten 54,000, and we've got 20,000 there for MSTY. 5,000 away from getting house money with MSTY, and 66,000 from getting house money with CONY. All right. All right. Let's see that Divi tracker. All right. So quickly. All right. So we just finished with Group B. Right. Again, YieldMax distribution paid out. The next one is up. Is going to be Group C. ABNY, AMDs. I currently have AMD. I have CONY, Corvana, and HOOY. All right. I don't have Dre, which is going to be DraftKings. So this may be their first distribution. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be like. It may be huge for the first one. I don't know. So that was going to be the new caveat that we haven't experienced is this one. And then I'm pretty sure once we roll back around for Group A, we're going to have this Roblox payout on distribution. That's my guess. Don't know for sure, right? All right. Divi Tracker. So Divi Tracker has me at this point projected to have an annual dividend of $170,000, almost $171,000. That is a huge jump from 38 to $39,000 I made last year in dividends from, I believe, September into December, or from August until December. So 38,000 to 170,000 potentially. That's huge. This is according to them. All right. So they're saying this is what I got outstanding in margin, 120,000. If you take that 120,000, add it plus the current value I have, 63, and then the amount that I'm down in CONY, pretty much, it will get you that 234,000 invested. All right. All right. So they have me averaging 14.5K a month going forward. You can see here, this is what we've gotten declared, and the gray charcoal is what they're estimating. All right, like I said, CONY is based in on that 80%. So I'm sure once we get paid with CONY come Friday, this 170,000 will probably reduce down to 140,000, probably, just saying, right? Because CONY is on a um, 80 cent per share, and we'll probably get, I hope we don't get 30, but potentially in the 40s, I would expect. All right. All right. So here's Snowball Analytics. It has the value, shows the invested amount right there. All right. So right there, you can see our total dividends received. It's been 100. This is including last year, 100,000, 100,773 dollars. All right. Total fees is $2,800. Profit and loss is 91,000 dollars. I don't quite understand it. That's probably going to go back, and I'm assuming it has, man, I don't know what that is. Probably some AMC. I owe some Zim. I did lose a big position in Zim that I was trying to get out and get back in. So I did take a loss on some Zim stocks before I start doing this stuff. And that may have some of that factored into it. All right. All right, let's see here. All right, so Snowball Analytics has me projected to make 13,000 a month going forward. Future payments, right? And it says the next 12 months I should be looking at 157,000. Right. All right. So this says total dividends received 59,764. Let's compare that to what I've been keeping up on my spreadsheet, which is $59,074. They're saying 59,764. So I'm off about almost $700. All right. So that's not too bad, right? All right. All right. So here we go. CONY, 11,032 shares. All right. Total dividends, 54,590. We're down 40,000. We have profit and losses of positive 1,300. So our total profit is at $15,918. You can see that there. Dividends received minus capital plus the 13. Excuse me. Let's say it again. 54,000 plus the 1,300 and profit and loss minus the capital gains yields me a positive $15,918. Right. All right. So Misty is a positive 14,383 for those that are viewing this channel. So we have 20,684 plus a realized profit of over 1616, and you subtract the negative capital gain, which is what we're down in Misty. That still leaves a positive total profit of 14,383,000. All right, so Palantir, we have nothing negative in Palantir. Everything is positive. Everything is green. We're sitting at $6,900 in total profit. Pat Platy, same thing, $5,100 in total profit. We have no negative number there whatsoever, so everything is above the average, and we're doing good on that. Let's see here, Ulti, we're just barely in positive territory on Ulti, $276. Let's see here, Hood, everything is positive on Hood. Where's HOOY at? HOOY should be out here too, right? Where are you, HOOY? Here she is right here. Everything is positive on her as well. All right. So let's get here. All right. So dividends received. This is more likely year to date. I'm believing 89. No, it's not. That's probably since I've been investing. 89,876. Total profit from all my dividends. Total dividends received is 89,876. Realized profit is at $876, and we're down in value in our account $43,382. A good 95% of that is due to our CONY position, but we're still in total profit $42,372. All right, let's get to our Q&A. I think we'll make a pretty good time. Let's see if we can get there. Let's see, Q&A. All right. All right, so we're getting started with our most recent video. I believe it was Wednesday. All right, so Sniper RS says timestamps, please. And I'm assuming that when I go to each position in this video, if I have a timestamp there, it can just instantly clip there. I have to see if the software does it, because if I do it manually, which I don't know just right off bat right now, but if the software does it, I may have to, edit it or something like that. But right now, if it's going to take uh, a lot more time to get, it probably will take a lot more time that I don't want to use to get the video out to you all. Most of you now know you can go check Twitter, or you can go check the newsletter that I've told you all about. If you just go to the site and you get that email notice in the mornings. But I still dropped this video despite some of you might knowing. Yeah. All right. 3138 says GOAT. I'm sure he's talking about Platy because it paid out $7.49. I said Platy is the GOAT. You're saying, well, let's see what HOOY has to say about that. Because it's going to be neck and neck with them two and probably IOCI. Maurice says, been debating whether to keep Misty and transfer it to Platy. I said, now, I personally can't tell you to make that move, but whatever move you decide, let us know. And yes, Platy and also HOOY have been showing out. Kelly says, Ulti for win, I have LFGY by 0.44. Wasn't quite sure what he was trying to say there. So I was like, okay. Everything max dividend. I like that name. Everything max dividend. He says, how is Nvidia lower than last month is crazy. I said, probably implied volatility is low, not sure. My good friend Alan here says, Alti and Platy are doing great. Thanks for the review, my friend. I said, no problem. I'm trying to decide on Alti as a major weekly position for me, and I'm also looking at a few other weeklies like TSYY also. Precision defense says, where can I find the groups in order? I say, here's the website link at YieldMaxETF.com distribution schedule. My good friend Mike Lesser said, looks like I was right. ICOI, Platy, and HOOY are the new big dogs in town for the time being. I'm going to allocate more of my NVIDIA position into those three to score again in a couple weeks. This is so fun. And he's got 3 replies and 6 likes. I say, yes, 749 is a crazy dividend. To the moon, to the moon. All right. We got our good friend here, Galea. Galea. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that bullshit it, but he says at YieldMaxMindset, he said, yes, it is. I am so looking at over 40,000 dividend payment for the end of August. I currently hold 5,444 shares of Platy. I'm up over $88,000 on this one since only May the 23rd. He is killing it. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name correctly, but Gag, I'm going to say Gag. Gag is killing it, people. 5,444 shares and Platy. He got over $44,000 this month. Think about that. $40,000 this month just in Platy alone. There are some people who are not going to make that all year in the restaurant, retail. Some of them are not going to make that amount 12 months. There are some people and some of the that does some shipping, that low shipping. And I asked this individual probably, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, what was he making in his shipping department, loading trucks. He told me $12 and some change. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't say that to him, but I was like, wow. Wow, because I know I'm making considerable more than that. But you think about um, that making $12 and change, loading trucks, and with the price of things, how they're escalating, how that's going to be very hard for that individual to get by unless they budgeting tight and picking up another job, right? Especially if that individual has a family, children to care for, that's going to be as tight. So getting into plays like these ETF, setting aside some of your money, If you only making that amount of income, it's gonna be hard initially. But if you can set aside small amounts, you can start to make a difference in your life. I would encourage anyone um, start using your cash to make some extra money for you, because it's gonna get hard out here with the tariffs and just inflation alone. So this can make life a little bit easier, or you can set your children up for be in a better position. My good friend Dennis says, your Midwest brother wants to say thank you for your content. Platy, wow. He saw that dividend. He said, I need to get more. I am adding more shares of Platy, CONY, and MSTY this week. So he said, I enjoy listening to your channel while I drive to work. Keep it up. Stay blessed. I want to say thank you, sir. Be safe out there on the road. Appreciate you choosing to watch and listen to some of my content on your journey to work or from work. Appreciate that. I said, look, I said, at my Midwest brother, I said, look at our friend Gag. His comment, he's killing with Platy. Basically, I copy what he had put in his comments that I just stated earlier. But anyway, like I said, he made over $40,000 in Platy. Now, that's let's say, man, I can't even do that. But anyway, man, yeah, that's crazy. So just that amount, I think it was 749. Yep, $40,775. That is awesome, man. My good friend Mike Lesser said, Platy distro is enormous for Friday, my dude. Woo, woo, woo. This AM. It says $7.50 in the email newsletter. Sadly, Nvidia is under $1 at 85 cents. I said, I agree. Platy, HOOY, and ICOI are big dogs, and they bring in the bag. How long this will happen, I don't know. But if you're a surfer, you're gonna ride the wave, ride the wave. And when that wave starts to, shrink, you get off that, find you another one. All right, so Dollar Ernest says, I've never been down that much in any position. For instance, CONY. I respect your cool callousness about it. Me, I'll be chain smoking all type of stuff. But it got me urgent to reach out and inquire if you have any stop losses set in place. Could you have gotten stop out before the total return goes too steep, and wait to see how far CONY was dipping and then jump back in at a lower price without having to risk so much NAV erosion? Been down $37,418 at the time he wrote this. I said, what's up, man? I appreciate you dropping by, viewing the content. I appreciate the inquiry. I do not have any stop losses set. And yes, I agree 100% with you that I could have potentially had a stop loss set and got back in at a lower price. Only due to my financial situation, I didn't. I didn't want to be out of the position because I needed the monthly income because I'm broke, broke, broke. So I'm not really concerned about the NAV erosion that some people call it. I'm more of a total return individual, and I'm strictly here for the monthly income. Now should I get above my break even price with CONY I'm talking about, I may choose to do something a little different, but mainly I'm just here for the monthly income total return. In about 10 to 14 months, I should have all of my initial investment back, which is 120,000 invested in CONY, and I'll continue printing money from there. Um, Alan, my good friend Alan said, thanks for the review, man. Ulti paying very well. I said, that is great to hear, my friend. An individual I follow on X, she went all in on Ulti, and she is getting 12K a week from Ulti. Yes, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video. She put 700, I think 777,000 into OT, and that basically put her at getting 12K a week. And I think she sold out the other day once it went down to 595. I think she said she took a $2,800 loss, but she made 12,000 in dividends. So she walked away with almost 9-10K. All right. Kelly says, I'm big up on PLW, almost 600 shares. Wish I would have bought more HOOY. Now I'm gonna be checking out this one too, PLTW. I saw it when I was doing the YieldMax. So I gotta decide and see. I said is the 600 shares or 6,000 weekly. I'm assuming he's saying 6,000 shares. I thought. Let's see, I'm up bid almost 6,000. 6,000. So he's up 6,000 in money. I think that's what he's saying, right? Mike Lesser said RBLY still at 100% maintenance ratio. So for homie, price has gone up $2. I think I saw it get up to 57. Oh, I did. I commented that in the comments. He says I'm anxious for a fair deal to pull the trigger. This week's review was killer. Much love. Appreciate it, man. I said I see at one time it had gotten up to $57. Probably won't change until the first dividend drop. Bryson said it is a dividend stock. I just put 41,000 to SMCY dividend. I just want passive income without working. Hey, we all trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, Bryson. I'm trying to get there. I think this strategy I got forward will help me get there a little quicker, help me pay down some debt. Because I believe that once I get all my debt outside of Robinhood cleared, and then get this margin. Well, I ain't too much worried about the margin getting down just yet. Getting this debt outside of Robinhood because the interest is killing me. Because I can take that money and be living on and just totally reinvesting all this dividend that I'm getting and building this baby up fast. So that's the reason why you don't see my portfolio increasing in significant value over time, because one, I've been pulling a little bit out, reinvesting in some of it. So, but once I can get some of this debt paid, look out, people. Look out. Um, Mike says, yes, Bryson, you should have gotten IOCI and Platy or HOOY. Those are the ones that are on fire. They're ATMs, and they're got shares, dividend shares between 7 and 9.25 per share. I said, Bryson, I'm not a financial, this is not financial advice, but I think SMCY will still pay a real nice dividend over the long run. But I do agree with Mike. Those three are the hot tickets in town. How long will they hold up before they dip and lose 10 to 15% in value? I don't know. Mike says, hopefully they have a long run like Misty did. Sometimes we gotta bounce around. Yes, now, good point. So cause Misty came out of the gates running. It was the first one that came out running like that. And Misty, up until what, 4 months ago, excuse me, Misty was rolling. I mean, it was the cream of the crop. Everybody wanted a picture with Misty. Everybody wanted to hear her sing. I mean, everybody just mention her name. You get likes. So yes, I said, man, you're absolutely right. Once I get this debt paid outside of Robinhood and get me some savings, some 6 months expenses, I'll do that and maybe calling it monkey branches. Jumping from one boyfriend to the next, so one position to the next, monkey branch. All right, let's hit the shorts. All right, this first individual, Ape, said, man, I don't know. I'm a newbie. I'm thinking about investing my dividends in other stocks like REITs. and bonds just to stabilize my portfolio. Cause man, I hate it always when I look at my portfolio and it's down 10,000. Um, the Setbacker Acre says if you're a newbie, just buy QQQ or VTI or the SPY. No need for these dividend max ones that have limited upside and same downside. No offense to the uploader being YieldMaxMindset, yours truly, right? But he would have been better off holding those and using margin on them. Um, Sniper RS says, man, what do you mean? And I replied to the first individual. I says, by all means, do not invest like I'm investing. I'm just showing what I'm doing, not telling people to follow the stuff that I'm doing because the method that I've chosen to do is very high risk. For sure, the ETFs that you're getting is important. And when you get in, hold on, I said for sure the ETFs that you're getting in is important, and when you get it in is important. And I've been doing it, and I've been down probably 20, 30, 40K at one time. I'm able to stomach it, but if that's not your cup of tea, you may want to tread lightly, not financial advice. Uh, and I said, Seth Becker says, thanks. I said, thanks for dropping by and viewing the content. I said, QQQ and VTI, you would have those as growth plays. I'm here for income, and that's what these high yield ETFs are strictly for income growth. I guess I got that missed. I should have said just strictly for income, not growth incomes. Now, I said, now growth can happen secondarily, but I'm here for the big bucks. I'm not here for the pennies, so I wouldn't use margin on VTI, QQQ for income. They probably don't pay enough dividends to cover the margin and have the margin paid off in a short period of time. And once I've got my millions accumulated from these dividends, then I will look at QQQ and VTI as a stabilizing place to hold my money. Mike said, oh, and Misty dropped its maintenance down to 35 cents now. So he mentioned that 2 days ago. I didn't notice that because mine was already at 35. I said, so you telling me that the you telling me that they dropped the maintenance ratio for everybody else now? That is great, giving everybody buying opportunity with these dips. He said for Misty, yes, but RBL still new and saying 100 on my end. And it's probably, like I said, it's probably gonna be that way until they pay that first dividend. He said I got 1,600 of HOOY queued up for Monday, my dude. He gave me the fist bump. He says, perfect time to buy. Yeah, if you can catch that dip because it pulled back to 67 on HOOY. So yeah, man, that'd be nice. Cause I think it got up to what, $77. So if he gets in tomorrow, and it goes back in value, not only is he gonna have more dividends when they pay out, but he's gonna appreciate the value in his account. That's gonna be awesome. I said, man, she's already sitting at $73 now. I think she got more room to run than Plady does. He says, no doubt, Hood and Palantir are gonna blow up a lot more. I said, I was just on the Robinhood app, and it's now, if you look on the Robinhood app at the top corner, the gold place where you used to say gold, it says Hood month. It says Hood Summit, September the 9th. I know they have things in the works for this fall. He says, yes. Plus, they're already making mad money in many different areas. and everyone's loving the margin loan. Robinhood taking over, baby. I agree. I agree. That margin and that the gold member, like I couldn't do what I'm doing now with Robinhood if I was in Charles Schwab. Couldn't do it because they're charging 12 and 13% on interest. Yeah, I would be more conservative over there with the with the margin. And I didn't understand the display and how to read the margin Charles Schwab because I had Tesla over there with 4,000 shares one time. And boy, Tesla started dropping. I got ate up. I got ate up. One, because I overextended myself on the margin over there. And that was my first time using margin. I was just checking it out. But when I saw Robinhood, and I said, man, I think I like this Robinhood margin. Let me head over there. And I've loved it ever since. And the more I play with it and I see how it works and I see the pros and cons, you know how to manipulate it, you know the rules of the game, and you can sort of see where your risk tolerance is, man, you can warp things. But there's always two sides to one coin, so be careful, especially with margin. Don't be like that one guy with Robinhood. He thought he was on margin and there was a glitch in the account. I think he was down millions of dollars. He he no longer wanted to be here and he vanished. Um, Mike says make a killing today. Near 2K off Palantir and $500 off Nvidia. But last week was rough, a bit on nav erosion, laughing out loud. I'm like you though. I don't worry about it. I said, yes, sir. Group B with Playt's been my biggest pull. What? Yes, sir. Group B with Palantir Playt being my biggest position. Oh, I'm saying in Group B that Playt is my biggest position and it pulled in almost $2,000. He said, yes, sir. Strong. Yes. Um, Jewel Jazz says rough day. I said, yeah, probably got quite a few more down the road and all the years out, but we'll see some upside as well. Just ride the wave. Don't get seasick. All right. Uno says, what's good, gang? How you feel about Misty? You think you can get those $2 dividends again? I said it depends on the micro strategy or strategy as it no now. Implied volatility, as long as the implied volatility is low, Mr. Um, then Misty dividends will be low. Now I do think we will see $2 dividends again. I do believe that's very possible, but how far down the road that is, I have no idea. Andrew says, did you do a big sale? If he said, did you do a big sale? It felt like you were at 82,000 for a minute. And I said, no, sir, I did not sell any yet. What I believe happened mainly was my biggest position is CONY, and it was at $10 per share. Came down and hit $7 per share. So I lost a lot of value within a position. So that's why my overall portfolio is down. I was down $43,000 in CONY. Not only just CONY, but the other position lost some value too, so it all accumulate together. But my biggest thing is CONY, and I'm trying to figure out a way to negate that by what I stated earlier in the video with the 600 shares, first in, first out, bringing down my Misty dollar cost average probably around $8. Just an educated guess, just my theory. 5932 says, "What's the app you using?" I said, O'Neill said, tap with O'Neill says Snowball Analytics. I said, yes, O'Neill said that. Snowballanalytics.com. You are absolutely correct, Share. Mike says by Friday, the dividends, this was 8 days ago. So That's going to be sort of obsolete, but we'll read it. He said, by Friday dividends, my margin will be about paid off. So I beefed up my IOC holdings to 120, hoping for a double digit per share distribution within a couple weeks. And we are getting close. I think I have an IOC. Let's see here. Where do I have for IOC? Where is it at? Where are you hiding? I have 70 shares. He said he has 120 shares. All right, so we doing it, man. We are doing it. All right, this was 8 days ago, so this is probably irrelevant, right? Yeah. All right, so let's hit a post and we'll be almost done here. All right, Loss from Light says, geez, how much you got in Play T? At the initial response, I says I have just 235 shares, 230 in Robinhood, 5 in Charles Schwab. So that's 235 times 749, which was $1,760.15. And then earlier I clarified it. I says, to be more clear, I invested 15.5K for 235 shares at an average cost of $66.18 for both accounts into Play. I hope that helps. All right. Let's see here. Logan says, finally, to make 5,000 shares of OT. Now I'm looking at 5,000 per week. Let's go. And he's where I'm trying to get to. My first thing was thinking of getting to 5,500 shares. I knew for sure that would probably put me over 500 a week. And now I've revised that. Now I'm shooting for 1,000 shares for per week. This individual says, I need that. I'll get there someday. Laughing out loud. Does it does it reinvest automatically? I don't think he's had time to reply to that. But I will say this: if he has the drip on, it will reinvest automatically on Mondays. It'll be sitting out there pending when the market open on Monday between 8 and 9. It will take those dividends you got and reinvest it into Alti or any other position for that matter, that's using these high yield TF to get paid in the same lifetime. But I said, Logan, you're getting that money, my guy. I'm hoping to make a move this week or early next week into Ulti all in, or splitting with one or two other weeklies. I either want Ulti to pay me just over $1,000 a week, or a combined weekly to get me a 1K a week. I says, I said, you will have my guy. Don't stop the grind. Your reward will be great. Your hard work building up your position. Run at your pace. And this was for the guy that's saying he's trying to get that 5,000 shares too. My good friend here, Gag says, yes, it is. I am so looking at over 40,000 dividend payment. He should be the highlighted comment of the week. He said, yes, I'm getting over $40,000 payment for the end of for the month of August. Currently holding 5,444 shares of Platy, up $88,000 on this one since May the 23rd. HX H Quad 6 says, holy moly, holy molly. Laughing out loud, you're looking to adopt? I said, yes. Are, are you looking for some heirs? Invest for Life says, I have YieldMax. Now I'm looking for a third weekly Divi pair. I need one that's just as good as these two. I said, I'm not saying these are, but someone put me on these. And I need to edit because I think, or add, so I think this one right here, what did I say it was? COYY. Not sure about the CII. I don't think that's it. And it's XBTY. But they there. I think I saw some other ones from Round Hill that were probably better. Um, Quint says ETF are changing the way income investors look at dividends. Rally J says facts. I said say it again, man. Hitting the market just in time for the poor broke fella like myself to turn my financial ship around. Lost from Light says CONY and Ulti for me, but man, I'm looking into Plady. I said, yes, man, Plady, HOOY, and IOIC. Roll up Bill says Platin Ulti. I said, let's go, let's get it. Josie said, I need Ulti up. I have it at 16, so he's down a little bit. I said I need Ulti to stay under $6 until I can make a move for before it gets back over 6. So yeah, I'm hoping. Uh, it's all about timing, right, people? Maurice says, "Oh, this is 9 days ago, so that's it. Then that's all of it. I think that's all of it. All right, 116. All right, I want to say thank you all, my Midwest brothers. If you still listen, I hope you made it to work safely, Lord. Made it to work safely. I want to say blessings to all of you who are listening to this channel. I appreciate you dropping by, viewing the content. Hit that like button if you don't mind. Hit that dislike button if you disliked it. I like both of them. All right. All right. I'm out. You all have a blessed week, and may God keep you safe from all hurt and danger, because the enemy is walking to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. May God bless you all. I'm out.